This video will discuss all the different possibilities when creating data fields, both for questionnaires or for your private notes in NutriAdmin. So I'm assuming you are here on the My Custom Fields tab, where you have all the different on and off switches for fields. And you're trying to customize a questionnaire or private notes, and you want to create new fields with this button. So when you're clicking here, we have an array of different options that you can use for your field. And I want to discuss them one by one so that you see what are the different possibilities when you are editing your questionnaires or private notes. So let's start with for the beginning, text. So here on the left of my screen, I have a questionnaire that I've created that has one question of each, and I'm gonna show you the example along with the explanation. So firstly, text is very simple. It's just a text box for entering short answers. For example, you can ask something like, what is your first name? And your client will get a small box where they can enter this data. This is useful for short questions such as email, phone, name, etc. And you can write these instructions for field, which is this gray text that shows inside of the box. And when you type something, the text disappears. This is optional. Moving on, we have paragraphs long text option. And this is exactly the same as the previous one, but it's a bigger box. And the client can even make it even bigger if necessary. And this is useful for questions such as, what is the reason that you're requesting this consultation? Or and you can let your client write a paragraph in there. The next option is yes, no question. And this is quite self-explanatory. It's just, you can ask a question such as, are you a smoker? And the client can say yes or no, just by ticking a box. Then the next option is a checkbox, single checkbox. And this is just, as it says, a checkbox that the client can tick or untick. You can, for example, ask something in a questionnaire such as, please tick this box to confirm you've read my terms and conditions and you understand what they are, and they can click. The next option is a heading. And this is just, this is non-interactive. This is just to print text like in here in a bigger font, supplement section. And it's going to also include this horizontal line below it. And you can use headings and subheadings, which is the next option, to divide your questionnaire or your private notes into different sections and have it more organized and have it presented nicely. So subheading is the same as heading, but smaller. Then there is date, and this is for questions such as what's your date of birth, and you're going to get options to pick, day, month, and year. Years go back to 1900 and to 2016. Then there is the next one. So now there's 3 kinds of tables, which are kind of the most flexible and complex feature. So if you click on table is for tables that contain text. So in here I have an example. You may want to ask your client, please list all your medication or all the supplements you're taking, etc. And rather than having your client writing something, a chunk of text that is not structured, you can create this table, which is divided into product, brand, and amount. So your client can say, I'm taking product A, brand blah blah blah, and amount 1 capsule. And then I'm taking product B, brand blah blah blah, and amount 2 capsules. Something like this. You can structure the data and have it in a table rather than in just a chunk of text. And to create a table, you can give it a name, which is this medication table. You can choose the number of rows and columns. So when you're creating a table, let's say I want to have 6 rows. So the moment I type 6, in here below, I have a preview of how the layout of the table is going to look like. So you can see it in here and count that you have enough rows and columns. Let's say 5 tables, as you see, it's been divided into 5 columns. You can add headers, both on the row and column header positions, and you can write in here things like product, name, brand, etc. And finally, table description is this little description that you see in here that is optional if you want to add it. And right, the next option we have when creating a new field is table of checkboxes. And this is a similar concept as with the first table, but now rather than having your client type text, your client can tick boxes in different positions, as you see in this example. And this is useful when you know already what are the possible answers. Like, for example, in here, create a table that is who does the majority of the cooking in your household. So there is a couple of activities related to cooking, such as cooking, shopping, ordering food online. And the columns there is you, your partner, other. So you can ask this to your client, and the client can take and say, okay, I do the cooking, my partner does the shopping, and they can leave one empty, like no one orders food online. And they can tick multiple options, such as both me and my partner do the shopping, but only me cooks. And there is all these possibilities available when you create this table. And finally, there is a table of radio boxes, which is the same idea as the table of checkboxes, but so the difference between a checkbox and a radio box is that radio box, you can only choose one option per row. Radio boxes are these circles, checkboxes are the squares. So this is useful when you have exclusive options, such as yes, no. If something is yes, it cannot be no at the same time. So in this table, your client can only choose one option per row. You can have something like, do you take any of these supplements? And they can click yes, no. Or you can ask, have you suffered from any of these illnesses? Or have you had any of these medicines before, etc. And you can organize it in this list, in this table. And finally, the last one is if you want to enter a chunk of HTML code, which is going to let you have this editor where you can enter formatted text. And you can write some text, you can then select it, change the color of it, you can change the size of the text, and you can format it in different ways, create lists, and there is many different options. And this is, for example, if you want to enter your terms and conditions, or if you want to enter some piece of text or a fragment that is formatted with different styling, you can do it with this HTML field type. And that's all. Wrapping up, in this questionnaire, My Custom Fields, you will be able to create a variety of fields, and there is a lot of flexibility so that you can have what you need. And all you have to remember is that once you create them, you have to put them on and save your changes to have them active in your questionnaire or private notes. And that's all. Thanks for watching.